Praise to our great creator Yah, the master of the universe, the Holy One of Israel. Peace, global citizens. On this particular video, which may take a couple of videos, so you got to watch all the parts of it, okay, to be able to capture all the information, all right? Very important one I'm about to go over today. Extremely important, okay? As we get back to the land of Israel, coming up soon. And whenever we partition the land, as you see it right here in front of me, the way it's supposed to be done according to the book of Ezekiel, chapters 45, 46, 47, 48. All right, it should be partitioned east to west. All right, the Holy Oblation is set out first, and then all the rest of the land is given to the tribes equally. Okay? All right, and the lands of the prince are right on the direct sides of the Holy Oblation. And the oblation is way bigger than that, okay? But anyway, the point of the video is a lot of people have never been land owners or land lot owners. So there's going to be a lot of learning curve and a lot to get used to for all those traveling back to the Holy Land. You know, whenever we get ready to get up out of here when Yah triggers the Exodus, okay? So there's going to be a lot to know. Like I said, a lot to get used to. And we're going to partition the land fairly and equally amongst all the tribes. Okay, the 12 tribes of Israel. All right, so you can see right here what the partition is supposed to look like. Okay, this is what it's supposed to look like. All right, partition east to west equally amongst the tribes. So when you come back and you are given a lot, that lot will be your inheritance basically forever. Now, why is that? Because after you die off, okay, then you give that inheritance to your son. If you don't have a son, then it'll go to your daughter. So that's the reason of this video, because I want you people to understand about what that's all about, okay? Now, some things you're going to need to understand about going back home is the Jubilee year. Very important to land inheritance, right? Houses or housing or land lots in a walled city. Read Leviticus 25, okay? Villages or housing in open fields, okay? Read about that also, Leviticus 25. Housing of the Levitical priest, okay? All of these things, okay, have different rules that are put forth as protocols in the Torah, okay? The book of Numbers and the book of Leviticus. Go read these chapters about property, real estate, and how it all works and how the Holy One of Israel likes to and requires for us to administer it fairly, okay? All right, while in his land, because Yah owns the land. Nobody actually owns the land of Israel. There is no ownership to that effect, because we're all sojourners with the Holy One of Israel. Because one day you got to die. You can't take the land with you, or whatever house you build, you can't take it with you. You know, you go out of here with whatever clothes you have on, and that's it. The same way you came in here. All right, all right. So inheritance-wise, I'm going to talk about the male and the female. Now you got to go to Numbers chapter 36 to read about that, okay? Especially dealing with the female. All right, because how a marriage is situated will stipulate, you know, what happens to that inheritance. We have to keep up with that when we get there. So a lot of these things will have to be written down, certified, things like that. Who's where, who owns what, so that we don't get the inheritances mixed up. You know, in case of, you know, somebody marrying somebody that, you know, maybe, you know, that they probably shouldn't have married. You know, that's causing that inheritance to go out to like a different tribe or something like that, okay? That it's not supposed to go to. Because Yah doesn't like that. He likes all the inheritances of the tribe to stay straight. So basically what I'm saying is, if you're a Yehudite, he likes for that inheritance to stay and remain within that, you know, Yehudite family. Or if you're a Reubenite or Ephraimite, whatever the case is, okay? A Benjamite, so on and so on, a Gadite or Danite, of the 12 tribes, okay? Very important that those inheritances stay straight, okay? That the sons, and generally it'll be the sons, who end up inheriting, not in every case, but who end up inheriting those lots. When their parent or parents pass away, then the inheritance remains within that tribe, okay? In other words, you don't have people double dipping. What I mean is, if a woman is a Yehudite and she goes off and marries out of her tribe into Ephraim, and then that male comes down into Yehuda with her, okay, and let's say he has children with her, then his children are illegally inheriting a lot, because that lot has to stay with Yehuda. Okay? Now you got Ephraim on top of a lot inside of Yehuda. Yah doesn't like that. He likes for Ephraim's lots to stay here. He likes Yehuda's lots to stay here. So that the lots are not all, jumbled up. Okay? They stay right where they are. And the people on top of them are of those tribes. So dealing with the male can just about marry anybody, any female, because he, stipulates what that child is going to be. So if that male is out of Yehuda and he marries, let's say, a female out of Benjamin, right? Well, the male is going to be, or the child or the offspring is going to be a Judite, a Yehudite, okay? Or a Jew, if you want to call it to that term. That's what it's going to be. All right, even though this female is out of Benjamin, their inheritance, as you see here, stays in Yehuda. Okay, so the Israelite male, as you know, we can cohabitate with just about anybody, even the heathen, right, or the Edomites, or other Hebrew factions, or the Ishmaelites, because it still ends up coming back to this male. Okay, because it's his seed, it's his seed line, right? But Yah just requires it to stay within the tribe. Okay. But the female, whenever she marries outside of the tribe, it can mess up the inheritance. Because let's say her father dies off and leaves her inheritance, right? And she's out of Yehuda. But she marries a male who's out of Ephraim, right? And they have children together. And let's say he moves down to that lot with her. Well, he's on top of a lot that he's not supposed to be in. Because this male child right here, or whatever the case is, or the offspring, okay, well, the male and the offspring both end up being in this lot of, Yehuda, okay, because this female inherited from her father, right, okay, but she didn't marry another Yehuda male as she's really required by Numbers 36 to do so, okay. It's a requirement, right? So that the inheritance don't get, like I said, all jumbled up. All right? So if she marries this male out of Ephraim, the problem is going to be is that once she marries him and he moves down, let's say, down to the territory of Judah and has children with her who are going to end up being Ephraimites, right? Not Judites, right? They're going to be after the father, right? Then he is on top of an inheritance that's not his. He's on top of an inheritance that's in in Yehuda when his inheritance is up here already. So what would have to happen is that female would be required, as far as I'm concerned, she can still have that lot for herself, but her companion, it would be better if they move to Ephraim. Okay? That way, any children or offspring that they have, okay, if it should happen this way, or like I say, if it's a son, because if he's an Ephraimite, there's going to end up being an Ephraimite son, right? Well, then the inheritance will stay straight, because that son, once those two parents die off, he'll stay within his inherited, tribal boundaries. Okay, he's not all the way down here in Yehuda inheriting another lot, right, of Yehuda, when he's actually an Ephraimite or a Reubenite or any other of these 11 tribes, okay? So I know that was kind of hard to follow, but you got to go read Numbers 36 and you'll figure it out for yourself as far as what the Most High is talking about, okay? He don't like the inheritance to get jumbled up like that, okay? So he really wants the females If she knows she's out of Yehuda, then he wants to require her to marry another male out of Yehuda. So she'll stay, in other words, she'll marry within her tribe if it's a female. That way she's not marrying up here in Ephraim and bringing that man down here on top of this lot that belongs to the tribe of Yehuda, even though it's hers, because she inherited from her father, right? Okay? So Numbers 36 requires her to marry within her tribe. Okay? Now, let's say she's already married. She came from America and her companion is of another tribe. Well, then she needs to go to that lot where her companion, whatever he is, of the 12 tribes. Okay? That way her children will be able to inherit a lot, after him whenever they pass away correctly and in the right place. So I know that's kind of complicated. I know it's complicated. You got to just think about it. Inheritance laws and how they work and how they're supposed to work. Okay, because a lot of you people have never been landowners or lot owners. You've never done it before. Okay, so this will be the first time that ever happens to you. All right. Like I said, this will take a couple of videos. Okay, so listen to all the videos. Be just a couple of them. So that way you can get some, some good understanding, wisdom, knowledge, and understanding about what's supposed to happen as we go home. Because, the land getting partitioned and land lots, inheritance are the first things we're going to take care of when we get there. Okay? Now, land lot, if you don't know what that is, you need to go Google it. Okay? The definition of a land lot. Okay? In real estate, it's a lot or a plot. Okay? In a tract or a parcel of land. Okay? Owned or meant to be owned by someone of ownership or owners, right? That's what a lot is. Basically, it's considered a parcel of land or real property, right? In some countries, okay? Or immovable property, all right? And the biggest thing that we do is we're going to be fair in how we administer the land. We can't do it the way they're doing it today. Because, even today, like the Palestinians, if they get caught doing anything by the Zionist armies, the Zionist armies go in there and knock their whole entire house down and kick them off their land. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's ridiculous, man. You know what I mean? That's ridiculous. It's very ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? So all that kind of stuff right there is going to cut out because everybody's going to have their tribal lots, okay? And all they got to do is just make sure when they marry, that they marry correctly, that we do not get all, you have somebody from Dan way down here in Reuben, okay, in a lot, okay, when their actual tribal lot is up here in Dan. All that's got to stay straight. So paperwork and things like that will have to be administered and, and watched, right, to make sure that it all stays the way it's supposed to, straight according to, biblical protocol and standard. That way everybody has their land. Even the heathens that want to worship Yah and are doing his law. Even them, like I said, Yah allow the heathen to come. Some of them, there's rules of that too, right? Okay, some of the heathen, right? But he'll allow them to come in and have an inheritance with us, right? Okay, but we got to keep all that stuff straight, as far as who's where and what they're doing. But in particular, the 12 tribes of Israel. Because the heathen can basically just live anywhere in here. Except for the lands of the prince and the lands of the holy oblation, which I'll talk about on the next video. Okay? But the heathen they can live anywhere inside of here. Okay? Once these boundaries and borders are drawn out. Okay? With the exception of the holy oblation itself. Okay, you see the Kadosh, set apart portion, not within here, but anywhere within the 12 tribes. They can sojourn with us, okay, and we give them a lot. Okay, now how big those lots are going to be? Well, it's hard to know. It depends on the amount of people that Yah allows to come back to the land. And it depends on how the nation grows, over the years. It can't be overpopulated, you know what I mean? Not have enough land for everybody, you know what I mean? So think about these things. Go read Numbers chapter 36, okay? And then I'll go over a little bit more on the next video. Very important that we get these things straight, okay? So thank you all for listening. Watch the next video, part 2, about land allotment. and land inheritance. Peace and y'all bless.